Very good morning to everyone. This is Naresh here, a geography faculty. My presence here is meant for emphasizing the significance of geography optional in civil services. We will initiate our discussion with a quotation given by Robin Sharma, a popular personality development trainer. Clarity precedes success. I repeat, clarity precedes success. Generally, in civil services preparation, one should have a clear-cut clarity or crystal clarity about what to read and what not to read. If you can do this properly, then that will automatically take you onto the path of success. So that is what is the essence of this statement with regard to civil services preparation. Okay? Now, before initiating the major discussion, I'll just give you a brief overview of civil services examination pattern. It is comprised of 3 levels: prelims, mains, and personality test. Let us keep the third component aside. Now, when it comes to prelims, it is the screening test, nothing but elimination process. It is comprised of 2 papers. One is general studies, other one is civil services aptitude test, popularly called CSAT. Likewise, mains is comprised of 2 components: general studies and optional. Under general studies, we have general essay paper, general studies paper 1, general studies paper 2, 3 and 4. And under optional, you have paper 1 and paper 2. Paper 1 comprised of 250 marks, paper 2 comprised of 250 marks. In total, you have 500 in the basket. Now, if you want to perform very well in mains, the general essay paper, general studies paper 4, that is also called ethics paper, and optional. These are the 3 potential papers or areas where you can get very good score provided you put your efforts best. Now, keep this general studies paper, especially general essay and ethics paper aside. Just focus on optional. 500 marks in the sense it holds lot of significance in your preparation. In other words, I can say that in your success. Now, the question arises over how to choose optional. In fact, in your entire preparation, choosing an optional is a game changer. There is no doubt about it. Is a game changer, or it is the crucial decision that an aspirant is going to make in his journey. Okay? Now, most of the students, they seem to be confused at this stage. How to choose an optional, what are the factors to consider before choosing an optional, etc. Okay? Here, one has to keep a fact in the mind that there is no blanket kind of rule that is to be followed while choosing an optional. In fact, this decision
involves or it is influenced by several factors. For example, you have availability of coaching or guidance. Next, availability of material. Next, success rate, which is nothing but how many students or how many candidates are making it to the final list by choosing that optional. And finally, the most important one is individual interest or passion. In fact, I can say that this last factor can outweigh the remaining other factors. Why? Because gender studies preparation, it requires vast coverage of data. In other words, we can say that you need to cover the data extensively for the purpose of gender studies. But when it comes to optional, it demands more intensive kind of preparation, which means that you have to dig deeper into the minute details so that you can get the command over the subject. The digging deeper effort can be supplemented or can be effective when you have the passion or inclination towards the subject. So that is why this passion can outweigh remaining other factors. This is to do with the significance of choosing an optional. Now, let's come to the core part of the discussion. The significance of, I have summarized the most of the queries posed by the students with regard to geography optional into various questions, and I will answer them one by one. Okay, first we'll start with what is geography? Okay, geography, this term is derived from a Greek word called geographia, which is comprised of two words, geo and graphy. Geo means the earth, graphy means to write. The literal meaning of geography is to write about the earth. It is the study of places and relationships between people and their environments. In other words, geography tries to provide, or it seeks to provide, a rational explanation behind the presence of certain things. In other words, why they are there in the first place, how are they formed, and what are the changes that they are going to undergo in course of evolution. All these things are properly addressed by the discipline of geography. Now, you have the branches. It is mainly comprised of 4 branches: physical geography, human geography, economic geography, and regional geography. Let's have a clear picture. Physical geography, next human geography, next economic geography, and regional geography. Now, when you take the earth, you have the land component, water component, and gaseous component. This land component is called lithosphere. Water component is called hydrosphere. Gaseous component is called atmosphere. And at the confluence of these 3, in other words, by taking the advantage of lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, there exists a life-bearing segment called biosphere. Nothing but flora and fauna. Fine? Now, the study of lithosphere is the thrust of geomorphology. Geomorphology studies the changes that occur on the surface of the earth from time to time. It is geomorphology. Next, the study of hydrosphere is called oceanography. Next, study of atmosphere is called climatology. And study of biosphere is called biogeography. Okay? All these 4 sub-branches, geomorphology, oceanography, climatology and biogeography, they are part and parcel of physical geography. Okay, so physical geography is to do with the tangible objects like mountains, plateaus, etc., and intangible components like gases, dust particles, water vapor, etc. Now, apart from this, there is one more branch called environmental geography, which mainly studies the spatial aspects of the interrelationship between living organisms and environment. I repeat, environmental geography studies the spatial aspects of interrelationship between living organisms and their natural environment. Okay. Next you have human geography. It is nothing but a branch of geography which studies the interaction between man and his environment. I repeat, human geography studies the interdependent or interaction between man and his environment, which means that how man is able to influence the environment and how environment is able to determine the day-to-day life of man. This part is dealt by human geography. Next you have economic geography. It studies the distribution of natural resources and the distribution of various economic activities like primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector. And finally, you have regional geography, which is nothing but a localized study of a particular place. Under regional geography, we have world regional geography and Indian regional geography. We will cover this world regional geography while discussing physical, human and economic geography. As a part and parcel, it will be covered here. And Indian regional geography is part of paper 2 of geography optional, whereas physical, human and economic geography, these 3 form the part of paper 1 of geography optional. Especially when it comes to paper 1, you have 2 sections, section 1 and section 2. This entire physical part of geography is covered under section 1, which means that you have majorly 5 chapters, namely geomorphology, oceanography, climatology, biogeography and environmental geography. Next, section 2 of paper 1 covers human geography and economic geography. Okay? Next, advantages of geography optional. The biggest advantage of choosing the geography optional is to do with map-based question. In paper 2, it is nothing but it is comprised of Indian geography. In paper 2, you have a question, a map-based question, under which you will be given 10 sub-questions or 10 places. And you have to locate these 10 places in the given Indian map and describe that place in about 30 words. So you have to identify the location, and at the same time you have to provide some concrete points regarding that particular place. And each one comprised of 2 marks. So totally this question carries 20 marks. Generally, when you answer any 15 markers or 10 markers or per se 20 markers in any other optionals, if you feel that you have provided the best answer, for the best quality answer, at the most you can get about 60 to 65% of the total marks allocated for that particular question. But here, if you are able to locate all the 10 places, and if you are able to provide the concrete points for all these places, then you will be able to get 20 out of 20 marks. This is the major advantage of taking geography optional. In fact, erstwhile or previously, there were 2 map-based questions in paper 1 as well as in paper 2. Now they have reduced it or confined it to only paper 2. Okay, this is the primary advantage. Next, secondary advantage is to do with the overlapping nature of geography in general studies, which means that geography covers major chunk of general studies. We'll discuss this in detail in a while, okay? So for the time being, keep it aside. Next, a third advantage is availability of material. In the market, you have more than adequate amount of material, and only thing you have to do here is minimize your sources in order to reduce or in order to avoid redundancy. So you have to reprocess the data here. Next, scope for innovation in diagrams. While doing geography courses, you practice several diagrams and you can get the ability to draw Indian map as well as world map within a short span of time, and you can use that ability to provide a creative diagram or creative diagrams in geography related questions in other parts of general studies apart from the optional. So this is another added advantage of taking geography optional. Okay, next, it helps understanding international relations in a better manner. For example, general studies paper 2. In this you have international relations, India and its neighborhood, Indian diaspora, several bilateral and multilateral agreements or regimes, etc. Okay. Under geography, we locate so many places and we study about the significance of those places, nothing but the natural resources, their distribution, etc. And with this understanding, you can comprehend the bilateral relations between any 2 countries very effectively. For example, you have Falkland Islands. Falkland Islands. These are the islands located in southern part of South Atlantic Ocean, especially adjacent to Argentina. Argentina is a South American country. Though geographically these islands are adjacent to Argentina, they are under control of UK. Why? Because they were the former colony of UK. So what happened? There was a discovery of oil reserves in these islands. As a result, what happened? Argentina started claiming for the rights over Falkland Islands, and which is bitterly opposed by UK. So a kind of controversy has erupted between Argentina and UK because of the discovery of this oil reserves. So if you are able to locate or if you are able to identify the significance of these islands, then you can understand the relationships between these two countries. First, I am discussing this instance or example, okay? Likewise, you have numerous across the world. So, another advantage of geography optional is it helps you in understanding international relations in an effective manner, okay? Next, magnitude of geography in general studies. While discussing the advantages, especially under second point, I talked about the overlapping nature of geography in gender studies. The overlapping nature of geography in gender studies. Okay? Now, you just look at this chart. In prelims, take the last year question paper, 2019. From geography, there were 14 questions, and from environment, there were 11 questions. 14 plus 11, total 25 questions. In prelims, you have two papers, General Studies and CSAT. General Studies paper comprised of 100 questions. Each question carries 2 marks, which means totally 200 marks. Now, in 2019 paper, the total number of questions asked from geography and environment, 14 plus 11, 25 questions. 25 questions in the sense 50 marks, which is 1/4 of the total GS marks, which means that the biggest advantage or added advantage here at the prelims level is you have very high probability of clearing the prelims. Okay, you can go back even in 2018 paper from geography there were about 8 questions, and from environment there were about 13 questions. Okay, and even in 2017 about 7 questions from geography and 11 questions from environment. So on an average you are getting about 20 to 25 questions, which means that 40 to 50 marks. No other optional can give you this much of guarantee. So it is having a lot of weightage in prelims GS paper. Next, mains. In general studies you have GS paper 1, under which geography is one of the major topic. Next, in GS paper 2, you have India and its neighborhood. This part is covered in paper 2, that is under Indian geography. Next, you have GS paper 3, under which you have environment and ecology, disaster management, and internal security. Okay? In the last year question paper, 2019 mains, in GS1, there were about questions worth of 120 marks, and in GS2, about 20 marks, especially from this India and its neighborhood component. And in GS3, there were about 125 or 120 plus worth questions covered. So more or less, when you take the total count, highest count 120, 20, and again 120, it is 260. Your optional marks 500, and here you have 260, more than one GS paper. And if you are blessed, sometimes in general essay paper, you can expect a question from geography related matter or environment related issues. For example, in 2018, there was a question related to border disputes, and in 2016, there was a question related to water disputes in India. Water disputes between the states in federal India. Okay, so you know that general essay paper comprised of 250 marks. Under that, you have to attend 2 questions, with each question carrying 125 marks. If you can get that question, if you can get a question from geographical issues or environmental issues, you can add this 2 also. So, taking the total count, 500 plus 260, 760 plus 125, about 85 marks. So, if you are preparing for this 500 marks, means you are going to take about 385 marks under your basket. Take it for granted. Okay, so this is the major game changer in your preparation, if you can utilize it properly. Okay, so to put it simply, I can say that the major advantage is map-based question, and the second major advantage is magnitude in general studies at prelims level and at mains level. Am I clear? No other subject in general studies will give you this much of assurance in general studies. Okay? Next. Most of the students, they generally ask, they come out with queries like, is geography a technical subject? Or is it to do with more facts? Or is it dynamic in nature? Okay? For all these 3, I can say that yes. Geography is a technical subject, especially in paper 1, section 1, you have geomorphology, the first chapter, next climatology, oceanography. These 3 chapters form the part of, or they form the bedrock of the discipline of geography. If you are able to understand the concepts thoroughly in these 3 areas, then you can play with the entire discipline. And here, you don't have to worry at all. As it is technical in nature, there is no guaranteed rule that one should be having technical background. No, that is not the case here. Okay? And moreover, all the concepts from these chapters will be presented in the class in a very simple and lucid manner. I can assure you to that extent, so you don't have to worry at all. So once if you get the command over these 3 areas, then you can interlink any part of the optional with other areas. Why? Because, for example, in paper 2, you have Himalayan mountain system. Okay? While studying Himalayan mountain system, you need to have an understanding of or commanding of geomorphology. Why? Because there is a theory called plate tectonics theory, which talks about the reasons for the presence of mountains or plateaus or volcanic peaks, etc. in a particular localities. It provides a rational explanation. So, with the knowledge of geomorphology, you can understand the Himalayan mountain system, which is a topic in paper 2. Okay? So in this manner, you can interlink so many factors or so many areas of the syllabus. Okay? Next. It is factual in nature. Yes, it is factual in nature. But most of these facts are logic based. And when there is no logic, at least I'll try to add some kind of story, interesting story to that fact, so that you can remember that fact in the long run. Okay? And only thing that is required from your side is the periodical revision. Okay? Next. Finally, is it dynamic in nature? Yes, it is dynamic in nature. Especially paper 2. Most of the questions in paper 2 are very generalized. Okay? Which means they are mainly asked from current issues. Okay? Any civil services aspirant during his preparation or during her preparation covers or reads some newspaper, some magazine. Okay? Whatever the knowledge that you are gaining by reading these newspapers and magazine, you can use that knowledge in contemporizing your answers in paper 2, which means that you are using the knowledge of current affairs in providing technical answers to the generalized questions. And this one is highly appreciated by UPSC. UPSC appreciates such kind of or such style of writing. So you have the high probability for getting very good score. Okay? So all this technicality, factual nature, dynamic nature, they can be leveraged to your advantage if you can utilize them properly or if you are smart enough in your endeavor in this regard. Am I clear? So it's a kind of blessing provided you take some precautions. Next. Does it take more time for the completion of geography? Yes. As the syllabus is vast, it requires relatively, when compared to the options like anthropology, Telugu literature, it requires some more time, but it's a worth investment in terms of time. Okay? Now, in our course, we spend about 2 hours per day. Totally we require or we need to spend about 200 to 240 clock hours in order to complete this entire syllabus. As it is 2-hour session a day, which means we can finish the entire syllabus in about 100 to 120 sessions. And in these 2 hours, the last 10 to 15 minutes I will spend on map pointing. So I will provide you the small doses of data with regard to map pointing, and which will fetch you very good marks in paper 2 especially. Okay? Next, apart from this, we follow 3-pronged approach when it comes to tests. You have daily based test, weekly test, and full length tests. On a daily basis, after the completion of specific topic, you will be given 1 or 2 questions and you have to attempt them back at your home, and solutions will be discussed on the following day so that you can evaluate your scripts on your own. Next, in weekly tests, These are the topic-based tests. Whatever the topic that we finish in this particular week, I will give you the questions from that topic at the end of this week, so that you can sit and write answers to those questions and hand over those scripts at the institution receptionist, and they will be handed over to you after evaluation, and feedback will be provided to you. Next, you have full-length tests. Totally, we conduct 10 tests, of which 8 are topic-wise tests and 2 are comprehensive tests. Okay, so this is our strategy with regard to tests. In this manner, more or less, we can cover this entire portion in about 4 to 4.5 months. Weekly, 5 days. Okay, this is including holidays. I'm telling it is about 4 to 4.5 months. Clear? And next question, success rate of geography optional, which means how many candidates are making it to the final list by choosing geography as an optional. In 2015, there were about 4,351 members appeared for the mains examination with the geography optional, and the success rate is 7.2%. Next, in 2016, about 4,000 odd appeared, and of which 5.8% is the success rate. Okay? Next, the major area or the major component in this regard is the book list. What to read, from where to read. See, you don't have to worry about the material availability in the market. You have abundance of material. Only thing is that you have to be very judicious, so you can mitigate or you can reduce your sources of information. Okay, it's not how many number of books you are referring, but how effectively you are reprocessing the data. That is what is the matter here. Okay, now when it comes to books to study for the optional purpose, I will categorize the books into 2 parts. Basic books, next reference books. Basic books, you must read them thoroughly, which means that cover to cover you have to read these books, and they are nothing but mostly NCERTs. Ideally, 6th to 12th standard NCERTs have to be covered, at least, if not all this, 10th, 11th and 12th standard NCERTs have to be covered thoroughly. Next, you have reference books. When it comes to reference books, selective reading is advisable. Selective reading in the sense, you don't have to read the entire book or cover to cover. Okay? So, in this regard, I will provide you the assistance in the class, how to read and what to read. And apart from that, you can refer previous year question papers, and based on that knowledge, you can identify the potential areas from those books. Okay? Now, for paper 1, this is the list. For physical geography, you have Savindra Singh. This is the very, very important book. Okay? Again, I'm telling you, you don't have to read this entire book. Okay? And apart from that, for few topics, you can even refer Stoller and Stoller, physical geography by Stoller and Stoller. Next, for climatology, D.S. Lal. And for oceanography, again D.S. Lal. And for environmental geography, again there is a book by Savindra Singh. Next, for human geography, Mazid Hussain, and you have geographical thought. It is again the part and parcel of section 2 of paper 1, again Mazid Hussain, and another book called Models in Geography. This is very important, okay, again by Mazid Hussain, okay. Next, for paper 2, you can go for a comprehensive geography, that is Indian geography by D.R. Kuller, okay. This book is sufficient enough, okay. But if you want some kind of selective reading, you can even refer Indian geography by Mazid Hussain, okay. But between the both, this one is sufficient enough. And when it comes to atlas, geography preparation is purely atlas based, okay. You need to be very careful with regard to this atlas. Without atlas, reading geography is like memorizing the telephone directory, okay. So for that purpose, you need to bring two atlases. One is Orient Longman Black Swan World Atlas, latest edition. I repeat, Orient Longman Black Swan World Atlas. Next, you have Oxford Indian Atlas. These two atlases have to be referred. Next, I have already told you that NCERTs, especially class 10, 11 and 12. Apart from this, you have Yojana and Kurukshetra. These are the fortnight magazines. They are very, very important. You have to refer to geography and environment or disaster management related articles from these magazines. Next, you have annual report released by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, okay. In the classroom, I can assist you in reading these basic books, and even I will do this work for you. I will provide you the gist of Yojana and Kurukshetra and even the crux of this annual report released by Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change in the form of notes. When it comes to the material, your strength would be the classroom material. I will give you the notes in an elaborated manner. Apart from this, some handouts would be provided as supplement, okay. So main source of your information is classroom notes, okay. Next, you have handouts, and if I feel like some article, entire article is important in Yojana or Kurukshetra, then I will ask you, or I will make you to read that article directly so that you can get good amount of data from that, okay. So this is true with your geography course. I think I have stressed upon all the major aspects of the session, and if you have further queries, you can call upon or you can call on Institute's mobile number and they will provide you the requisite information, okay. I'll wind up the session. I very appreciate your valuable time and patience. Thank you so much. All the best.